Breaking news coming in this afternoon. In an open letter, Edward Zuma has lashed out at the Minister of Finance, Pravin Gordhan, his deputy, Mcebisi Jonas, Johan Rupert, and the private banks for not working in the interest of South African people. He says Gordhan and others are busy amassing wealth at the expense of delivery and poverty alleviation, and are building their empire through their relationships with white monopoly capital like Johan Rupert. Edward Zuma has also questioned the South African Airways debacle, alleging that Gordhan and his co were busy trying to sell and privatize state-owned enterprises and companies to the benefit of their friends. Now, joining us on the phone line to discuss this further is President Jacob Zuma's son, Mr. Edward Zuma. Good afternoon to you, sir, and thank you for joining us here on ANN7. First and foremost, could you just clarify for us why you have taken the opportunity to write this sort of letter?
Good afternoon to your viewers. The reason why I decided to take this opportunity and write an open letter is because the truth is being withheld by people in the powers that be, knowing them. You've mentioned a few, including certain media houses who are hell-bent in seeing to it that whoever comes out with the truth in this country, that particular story should not be published in any form of media.
Mr. Zuma, with regards to people and their views, what do you say to people who are of the view that the reason why you wrote this letter is to protect your father?
Well, I do not think the President of the Republic needs my protection. I think he has the protection of the African National Congress, which is the organization that deployed him in government. I'm raising the issue as an ordinary citizen of the country, and understanding that people would want to marry me to the fact that I'm related to him. I would think that would be an unfair particular assertion.
Mm-hmm. And with regards to what you have mentioned in the letter, what is the basis of these allegations that you have made against the likes of the Minister of Finance?
Well, I think we all know it's for the public to see. When you assess and you go on internet and, it's for public consumption. You check as to what really goes on at SAA, for example. You could see that SAA is being, is being strangled solely because they want to run it down with the view of to their private, partners. Whom also it is alleged that the Minister of Finance daughter is part of the people who wanted to take over SAA. SAA is not the only SOE that has fallen victim of this. There is a state mining company which was led by a certain Mr. Percy Khoza. And there are many more that are unknown to the public of the country. They are being hidden. As I said initially, you can never know about this because the media houses you tell about this, they always suffocate these stories because they report to the masters, and their master is one, the Ruperts of the likes and the likes.
Mr. Zuma, in your open letter, you also talk of the selling of South African Airways to a company where the Minister of Finance, Pravin Gordhan, has relatives or daughters. Could you just expand on that statement that you have made, and what do you have to substantiate that statement?
Well, I wouldn't want to expand on that statement for now because there is a case that I've opened that is in relation to that. So I think the public of this country would be able to know once the facts of that particular case are then for the public. For now, it is a matter that is within the law enforcement agencies of this country.
Mm-hmm. You've also mentioned the issue of greedy leaders who do not worry for the people of South Africa's interests. Who are you talking about in this instance?
Can you come again? I didn't get that.
In your open letter, you talk about greedy leaders whose interests are not the people of South Africa. Who are you referring to here?
No, I'm obviously referring to people like Johan Rupert. And there's this clown called Sipho Pichana, who all of a sudden has become a god of the white monopoly capital Yet at the same time, the very same companies benefit from public funds like the PIC and so forth, with the assistance, obviously, of the likes of the Deputy Minister of Finance and many more.
Mr. Zuma, you've also touched on, I'm just reading through this open letter, you've also touched on the issue of the right of freedom of expression. This is something that's been debated largely across the country. Just talk us through your concerns here.
Well, the concerns regarding the freedom of expression.
And the abuse thereof.
Yes, I think people tend to insult some other people, and it shied away from, and they always hide under the the Constitution and say it's their freedom of expression. They have the right under the Constitution of the Republic. Not forgetting that the Constitution also stipulates that every right has its limits, and it's a responsibility. So they tend to shy away from the part of the limits and responsibility and choose the other part. I find that very awkward and very selective of them.
Just lastly, Mr. Zuma, you've also touched on the issue around South Africa's banks and a probe against the banks. Something that's been in the media a lot is the issue around Oak Bay's bank accounts. Do you believe that South Africa needs a state-owned bank desperately at this point?
If it were by my standard, already government would have shifted all its accounts from all these banks that are here in the country and resuscitate Postbank, because these banks clearly are not here to serve the interest of the Republic of South African people. They're here to serve the interest of people that we do not know, and some we do know. As a result, you have this matter that is being discussed these days about the ABSA scandal. This is something that is there, and people are trying to put it under the carpet. But they are not going to be able to do it, because we will fight tooth and nail to expose all these things. For example, we do not know where the government guarantees have been given to. If you were to ask that question, they will not answer you, because they know that they've hidden with the Bidvest of the likes and the Investex of the like. They are Jewish friends.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Zuma, for your time this afternoon. We appreciate you talking to us and sharing your views and opinions with us. Mr. Edward Zuma.